Alright guys, so today we're going to be starting a new module on quadrilaterals. A quadrilateral is a shape that has four sides. Alright, so first kind we're going to talk about are called parallelograms. Right? So the definition of a parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. So over here, this side is parallel to this side, and then this side is parallel to this side. Okay, the one mark, arrow mark indicates those two parallel, two arrow mark indicates those two parallel. So now, as far as a property of parallelogram, I'm going to talk about a few properties. Okay, so property number one is opposite sides are congruent. Okay, opposite sides are congruent. So that means this side and the side opposite it over here are going to be the same length. Also, these opposite sides are going to be congruent as well. So that's the first property you need to understand, is that opposite sides of parallelograms are always congruent to each other. Alright, so the next property of parallelograms is opposite angles are congruent. Okay, now remember, congruent means exactly the same, right? Not similar. So this angle and the angle all the way across from it are the opposite angles. Those are congruent, and then this angle is, of course, congruent to its opposite angle, the angle all the way across from the other side. All right? So that's another property that you need to know about parallelograms. Okay, and another property that you know, third property, is that the diagonals bisect each other. Okay, so first we need to remember what bisect means. Bisect means to cut into half, okay, cut exactly in half. A diagonal is the line that goes from one opposite corner to the other. Okay, so these two lines are diagonals, and they're going to bisect each other. So that means this piece is going to be the same as this one, and this piece is going to be the same as this one. All right, so that's the first three properties of parallelograms. All right, so the fourth property of parallelograms is same side interior angles are supplemental. Okay, and remember, supplemental means they add to 180 degrees. All right, so for example, this angle, call it angle X, all right, and of course the angle opposite it is congruent, so this angle is also angle X. But the angles next to it, okay, the ones that are on the same side, okay, call this angle Y, and then of course the one opposite it would be angle Y. So these two angles are on the same side, or you could think of these two angles that are on the same side. Okay, either one of those, we know those two are supplemental. So that means X plus Y should equal 180 degrees. All right, so those are your four properties for parallelograms that we're going to be using. All right, so let's do some practice problems. Okay, so with this parallelogram, RSTU, we want to measure, what is the measure of angle S? All right, so measure of angle S. Well, we can see this angle is 34, and S is the opposite angle. So we know angle S equals 34 degrees also. Justify our reasoning, we can justify that because we know opposite angles are congruent. So that's all you have to say for your reasoning. All right, the next one, measure of angle T. So we know angle S is 84, and we want to figure out what is T. Well, these aren't opposite angles, they're same side angles, right? So one of our other properties tells us same side interior angles are supplemental. So supplemental means they add up to 180. So we'd say X plus 84 equals 180. and solve. Minus 84, minus 84. So x equals 180 minus 84 is going to give us 96. So x is 96 degrees. Just for our reasoning, or we can say same side interior angles are supplemental. Or you could say equal 180 or add up to 180. Either way is fine. Alright, so let's do another couple. They're a little bit tougher. Challenge us a little bit. Alright, so right here, these two angles, they're same side angles, so they should add up to 180. So I'm going to set my equation by adding them together. 39x plus 2 plus 100 should equal 180. And then solve. So 39x plus 102 equals 180 minus 102. That leaves 39x, and this leaves 78. And when we divide by 39, 78 divided by 39 is 2. So we get x equals 2. Again, they want to know what's the value of x. So right there, x equals 2. And again, we can say same side interior angles are supplemental. Alright. Okay, so let's do this last right here and let you guys try the next one. So right here, what's the value of angle R? So notice it said not what's the value of x, like the last one. What is the value of angle R? So we actually have to find angle R. So these two angles, they're not same side interior, they're opposite angles. So these should be equal to each other. So we set up our equation by setting them equal. 15x plus 15 equals 17x minus 1 minus our 15x. And then subtract 15. Wrote that on the wrong side, didn't I? It's a mistake you guys make a lot of times. 17 minus 5x, 15x is 2x. So I need to add 1. Get 16 equals 2x, and then divide by 2. So x equals 8. But again, the question is not what is x, the question is what's the angle R. Angle R is 15x plus 15. So I've got to take x and plug it back in. 15 times 8 plus 15 instead of 15 times x. All right, so 8 times 15 is going to give me 120. Plus 15 more is 135 degrees. Okay, so that's the measure of angle R. And just from our reasoning, I can just say opposite angles congruent. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pause it. You guys pause your video and try the next one for me. All right, so this one was a little bit tricky. First, you had to recognize that these are opposite angles. Okay, we want to find the measure of angle G. So this is where the tricky part came in. Angle G is this angle. So first, we've got to use these two, angle F and angle D, to solve for x. So they're opposite angles, so we know they're congruent. So we set them equal to each other. 7x plus 4 equals 8x minus 2. And we solve, we get x equals 6. Now, once we know x equals 6, we got to plug that back in to find the measure of either D or F. Okay, so we plug, let's say we plug it in for D. 8 times x minus 2, so we plug in 6 for x. So 8 times 6 minus 2, and we get 46 degrees. All right, but we don't want to know angle D. We want to know what's angle G. Okay, so now you've got to use your other property that tells you these two angles, angle G and angle D, are supplemental because they're same side interior angles. All right, so now once I know this one is 46 degrees, I know that it has to add up to G to equal 180. So I say, all right, we'll just take 46 away from 180, and that'll leave me angle G. So there's 134 degrees left, so angle G is 134 degrees. All right, just from my reasoning, I've got to use both things because I used opposite angles congruent to solve for x, and then once I knew x and plugged it in, I had to use same side interior angles or supplemental to figure out what angle G was. All right, so that one used both properties. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Just a couple more left. I know you guys are sad about that. I'm sure you're really wishing we could just continue with math all day long and do problem after problem after problem. Okay, so right here, we're not using angles anymore. We're using sides on this problem. So notice we've got 2x plus 15 for DG, and EF is 15. So what do we know about sides on parallelograms? Well, one of our other properties says that opposite sides are congruent on parallelograms. So we know these two should be the exact same, so we can set them equal. 2x plus 15 equals 15. So I'm minus 15, minus 15. I get 2x equals 0. And then I divide by 2, 0 divided by 2 is 0. That's okay. We can get x equals 0. That's not a problem. So x equals 0. That's all they wanted to know. What is x? And to justify our reasoning, we can say opposite sides congruent. Alright? Okay, let's do this next one. It's a little bit tricky, okay, because they just split this angle right here. But we know that whatever this angle is and whatever this angle is are supplemental. They should add up to be 180. They just split angle C into two pieces. So all we got to do is add up 116 to both pieces instead of just one thing, okay, because angle C is made by two different things. So 116 plus x plus 25 should equal 180. So that gives us x plus 141. And then we minus 141 and get x equals 39. Right? So again, x is 39.
Pardon the interruption. Any sophomores having their picture retaken, please report to the auditorium now. All sophomores.
All right, sorry about that. So x equals 39 degrees. So justify our reasoning. Well, same thing we've been using. Same side interior angles are supplemental. So nothing different. Same property. Same side interiors are supplemental. Alright, so I want you guys to go ahead and try this next problem, and we'll go over here in a second. So go ahead and pause the video and give it a try. Okay, so on this one, you also had to do the same thing I did on the last one. You've got two angles that are same side interior angles, so they should add up to 180. It doesn't matter that E is split into two parts. You just add both parts together to equal angle E, and then add them to D to equal 180. So when we do that, we get this equation. And we combine like terms and solve for x. You guys know how to do that by now. When we solve, we get x equals 3. And our reasoning is that same side interior angles are congruent. Right, so a couple more. There's one property we haven't used yet. We'll use that one right here. So this problem tells us that BY is 19.3. So what's BY? BY is this section right here. And they say that is 19.3, and they want us to find BD. Well, BD is the whole way across, okay, the entire diagonal. So what we know about diagonals is that in a parallelogram, they bisect each other. So if CA is bisecting BD, that means this piece and this piece must be the same amount. So BY is 19.3, so is DY. So then BD is the entire thing. So BD is just 19.3 plus 19.3, which is going to equal 38.6. And how do we know that? We can say diagonals bisect each other. Alright, so that's all we have to do for that one. I'm going to pause it, let you guys try the last one here, see if you can solve it without my help first. Okay, so right here, you're told that CE equals 22, which is the entire diagonal, and you're told that PE equals 2x plus 5. Well, PE is just part of the diagonal. But we know that in a parallelogram, the diagonals bisect each other. So if PE is 2x plus 5, then the other part of the diagonal, PC, also has to be 2x plus 5 because it's been bisected. They're the same amount, each piece. Okay, so if both of them are 2x plus 5 and the whole thing's 22, well then these two should add up to equal the entire length of 22. So that's how I set up my equation. I do 2x plus 5 plus the other piece 2x plus 5 equals the entire length of the diagonal, 22. And then you solve your equation. 2x plus 2x is 4x. 5 plus 5 is 10. Then we subtract 10 from both sides. So we got 4x on the left, 12 on the right, and then divide by 4, so x equals 3. And our reasoning is that diagonals bisect each other. I appreciate your all's attention. Time to practice.